Right, welcome everyone. It's so nice to have you part of today's session. So one of the big things that comes out is, yes, we're real estate agents. Yes, we deal with so many people on a day-to-day basis. Well, you should be dealing with them because your business is about building relationships. And one of the areas that we build deeper relationships with is what I like to refer the relationship of trust. You see, the relationship of trust doesn't only take to the part of, well, hey, let's see if we can find you a property or sell you a property. Maybe we can actually help you to buy or sell your friend's property or your family's properties. So it starts to grow out from there. And what we came to realize is, well, when we're building relationships with so many individuals, well, this gives you opportunities to new products, additional products, and products that will actually almost, I want to say, work hand in hand with the property sector. And that's why we've actually, well, I want to say teamed up or buddied up, because they are becoming one of our best friends, is with a company that I'm going to say is going to be almost one of the old ones. These are the guys that have been around for not only just years or decades. In fact, they're actually crossing over the century mark, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's something that this gives you a deeper level of trust. When you go to one of your friends and your family and you say, hey, by the way, did you know we can also put you in contact with one of our buddies and they can assist you with their product range? Now, you might be thinking, all right, Stuart, what are we talking about? Well, this is where I want to bring on board a gentleman who decided to have the exact same haircut as me, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. You know, the haircut that really in the morning, we spend a huge amount of money on shampoo, but this is the best way to do it. So joining me today is Henno from Old Mutual. Henno, how are you doing today? And thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's fantastic to be here, and thanks for the hair intro. We do save time in the morning, so we can be more efficient.
Absolutely. You know, I always like to say, when people say to me, what I did have hair, Stuart, are you a person with a center path, a path to the left, a flick back? Do you like it spiky? And that just gave way too many options. For me, I just like the swipe back, which is basically just taking away the shine. That's the best part about it in the actual mornings. But enough of the actual side of it. Let's kick into a company that has really been in South Africa for a long time. In fact, when I actually went back, it was something where I think Old Mutual landed in South Africa probably before the settlers. This is basically how far it's going back. They might have not been in South Africa at that stage, but they were around 1845. Is that correct? Is that when Old Mutual decided to open its doors? Is that many years ago?
It's many years ago. It's 180 plus years. It is through World War I, through World War II. If you think about Volrad, Baltimore, there's some fantastic stories along history that we've been part of. And you spoke about trust. If there's one company that you want to trust, it's us. And especially thinking about innovation, things going forward, built on that trust. I think that's why we'd love to partner with you guys.
Absolutely. So let's actually go on to this trust, because one of the things that we'd like to trust is when we actually go to a client and we say, hey guys, by the way, let me put you in contact with somebody from, and it could be a unknown name, but if we say, I want to put you in somebody in contact with Old Mutual, suddenly people go, okay, we know there's a deep level of trust because of the years. But when I think of Old Mutual, I just think of, well, it's just insurance policies. How can that be of interest to me? So give us a nice high-level overview. How can Old Mutual as a company help not only the man on the street, but the business owner, the clients that our real estate agents actually deal with? How does Old Mutual help them?
Well, I think, Stuart, it starts with the fact that we can offer basically everything in financial services. And we know through a number of years where people need financial advice. And I mean, we use the language about holistic financial advice, but holistic financial advice is really hyper personalized to me as an individual. So as an example, it might be that I've got a specific need for medical aid or gap cover, or it might be that it's short-term insurance, or if I think about a claims progression, It might be a temporary income, or it might be that I need to save for education for my kids. I've still got small kids, but I also need to think about retirement and what I want to do in retirement years. And it might be more leaning towards your estate planning and complex estate planning or business assurance. Now, I'm throwing a lot of terminology around here, but the reality is, if you think about financial services, we are the company that you want to partner with, and we partner with various other companies to be able to offer everything in one suite for the customer.
So let's expand on that, because as you quite rightly said, there's a lot of terminology, there's a lot of things. And the first thing that was going through my mind was, how am I going to become a financial advisor? How am I going to sit down with my clients? I got to try and negotiate with them to put in an offer. I need to negotiate with the seller to close all this. Now I've got to add this old new. This is becoming a little bit scary. I don't want to become a financial advisor, but this is where we pull the brake up, because your team, and correct me if I'm wrong, they are the financial advisors. All we've got to do is have a very light conversation, identify and refer. Is that correct?
That's spot on. So we don't need you to become a financial advisor, because then you have to do all the regulatory exams and all of that. So that's not our aim. We are the experts in financial advice. So what we propose is, like you said, bring that subtle conversation in. Ask the right questions. Have you got a financial advisor? What is important to you? Are you thinking about the future? Are you looking after the insurance side or the protection side when you take out a home loan? Are you looking at retirement planning? Is there a better tax efficient way of doing things? Now, these are the questions that I'm thinking about that a real estate agent can ask to their customers. But really, for me, it is about using us as a value proposition for you. So strengthening your own value proposition. And it's, you've partnered with us, and we are there to help put your customer in a better financial situation. And that's basically the concept that you need to learn. We've partnered, and we will leave you better than we found you.
Now I feel a lot more relaxed, because that means I don't have to do all those additional exams, because I'm already a qualified agent. All I've got to do is have those conversations with my clients and really just take it down a little bit deeper, which is, hey, well, what does your future look like? You've got kids, all of these, and then building that relationship with one of those financial advisors from Old Mutual that you can then just hand over, and they will then take care of the rest. Now, what is the next step? So I've been with a particular client, and I've seen potential, not only in them as an individual, but maybe even in their business, because maybe they've got staff in their business and they never thought about any form of retirement. And I've handed this over to a financial advisor with Old Mutual. Now, does that advisor take that lead and think, this is the best thing under the sun, and they disappear? What is the steps that happen thereafter? Because I'm assuming it's not just simply give you a name and a number and off you go. What's needed to happen there before that?
Yeah. So firstly, I think, and thanks for leading in with the questions. I think I listened to a podcast the other day, and they spoke about PPF. It is about your personal, your professional, and your finances, and everything gets coupled there. So if you can ask firstly the question, I mean, you're probably asking the question about your personal life, and you got those details, your professional life, and then your finances. So on the finances leg is where we want to come in. Once we've come in, you've asked a question to your customer. So first things first, you need a formal agreement with us. We call it the independent contract agreement. So sign the agreement with us, then you know that you've partnered with us. It's always nice to have a legal binding commitment. And then you know there's a referral fee that's going to come to you if we do any business with a customer. So that's first thing. But once you've introduced us to the customer, it's very important for us to keep you in the loop, to say, let's take you as an example, Stuart. I'll say, Stuart, I met with Jonathan. Jonathan is very keen on looking at his kids' education as well as short-term insurance and his retirement planning. Let's use that as an example. But I want to keep you in the loop. And once I have a follow-up meeting with Jonathan, then I keep you constantly in the loop. Once I've concluded any business, Then we do statements, and we get those statements to you because you get a referral split for that as well. But I think it's very important to be able to keep you in the loop throughout the process. And I think it's also very important to know that we want to partner with you long term. So this is not a quick win and we run off and you run off. This is about building a passive long-term income, because you're going to become comfortable with how I do business. And then word of mouth is going to start to happen, and you are going to hopefully get more customers because of your value proposition that is enriched. And we need to keep you constantly in the loop, and we'll become friends over a long term as well, based on that referral sharing fee.
So that makes it simple, because I like the way you said independent contract agreement, because we want to formalize it. We're actually giving our database, and that's really giving the actual lead that goes through, and then getting that referral, ongoing communication. But then you hit the nail on the head. We're actually going to get something back. So it's a win-win situation. Now, with the laws within South Africa, we've got one law that always jumps up, the Poppy Act. And when we suddenly say to a client, oh, I think that they're interested, and we just hand over a number to one of your consultants or financial advisors, I remember, don't call them consultants, financial advisors. When you hand them over, well, that actually is kind of contravening. What is it that an agent should be doing before they actually start handing over any form of personal contact details, name, numbers, etc.? Is there any kind of best practice?
Yes, so firstly, I think because it's, if you think about your finances, it is such an important part of you and your customers. So firstly, it's not about the quantity of leads and numbers that you can give through. It's about the relationship that you've got as a financial or as a real estate agent with the financial advisor, and then with the prospective customer. Because I think that's quite important. It's not about thousands of numbers, but it's about, let's take me and you as an example. It's about, we've got a good relationship, and you trust me as a customer, but you might also trust me as a financial advisor. And I think based on that, you want to have that open conversation with the customer to say, look, man, Henno's really done fantastic work for me. Would you be keen on being contacted by Henno, and I'll do the introduction. So the success stories that I've seen is where it's not a lead handover and you contact and you do the rest. It's really about Henno, Stuart, and the customer sitting around the table and having that conversation, because then it's an introduction that you are doing, and from there you can leave me and the customer while I keep you in the loop throughout the period of time. But it's about asking the right questions. You can even leave something at the prospective customer to say, look, man, I've partnered with this person, and please feel free to contact them. They will keep me in the loop the whole time. But it's not about just handing over X amount of leads, because that's still a relationship game, and it's very important to be able to trust me. And hopefully you've got the trust already, and we spoke about trust a lot, but the trust in the relationship, that's where I come into the play.
Absolutely. And that's what I wanted to make clear in this. This is not about going into your phone and thinking, hey, let me just go copy, paste, and away you go. It is a one-on-one conversation with your clients. Remember, you're building a deep relationship with them. You're getting to that point of trust where they're going to give you more business. And then it's saying, well, how do we secure your future, your financial future, which is so, so important, because as you start getting older in life, you start to appreciate the value of where your finances is right now and where it can be in the future. You don't want to be stuck in a rather uncomfortable situation. So, Henno, with this partnership with eXp, it's definitely gone deeper. And in fact, a little bird on my shoulder actually mentioned that Old Mutual is even doing a little bit of I want to say it's almost like a giveaway, a prize, which is with regards to the race to the USA. I believe that you guys have actually stood behind that as a kind of the exclusive sponsor to it. is this something that you were involved with? If not, I can always dub this out at the end, but if you were involved with this, why did you choose such a prize to sponsor someone to go to the USA with the eXp Con?
Yeah, well, I think it's important for us, if you think about a partnership, there needs to be mutual benefit. And it's always nice to be able to give something where you believe there's going to be success. So we believe, and that's why we've partnered with eXp, we believe that you guys are going to become very successful. And that's why we're partnering. And we just want to contribute our part in order to tell you guys, look, you can trust these guys. They are with us. And once you've got that relationship and that trust, we believe that there's beneficial value in you guys linking us to some of your customers. Because this is such a good synergy that I'm feeling. If we just get it right, and again, it's not about the thousands of leads and going to a phone book and sharing that. It's about where you've got quality relationships and asking those right questions.
Absolutely. So trust not only in our clients, but Old Mutual actually trusts in us. And that is obviously so, so important. I could almost make that into a slogan. I think that's going to be one of these slogans, these brand slogans. Trust in us. That'll actually go forward. So, Henno, you actually mentioned that you've got a couple of slides that you'd like to go through. Just to give us a nice overview of all of that. If you would like to, you can bring up your slides.
Fantastic. Thank you. I know we've spoken a lot now. I'll run through this very quickly because I believe there's two things why you should consider us. And we've spoken about the trust element. The first one is why to become an independent contractor. And the second part that hopefully excites you, because there's something specific in it for you as well, on an education and retirement front as well, that I want to launch specifically to the eXp group. Well, why do you need to consider us? Well, firstly, there's a diversified income stream available for you. If you use the trust angle and the relationship that you've got, you connect the customers to us. We'll do the financial services business, plus we'll do a referral split back to you. So diversified income, and I tell you guys, there's people that's earning significant amounts for just doing those introductions. So on this diversified income, if I can ask you 3 questions, basically, are you providing advice or accredited to provide advice? And we've established that you are not. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do the regulatory exams. Number 2 and 3 is, why would you like to diversify your current income? I think that's a no-brainer. Who wouldn't want to do that? And you want to enhance your value proposition. Again, a lot of people would want to do that. So number 2 and 3, I think, is the answer why you need to partner with that. And what is an independent contractor? Well, it's somebody that signed a formal agreement to say that they are going to refer customers to us, and they've got the relationship with the customers. All they do is they link the customer to us. We'll take care of the financial services. So that's an independent contractor. If I think about success stories, and it's important to understand where we've seen a lot of success in real estate agents. If you think about principal, even accountants, we do very well with accountants that link customers to us, bond originators or conveyancers. But you'll see real estate agents right on top. Again, that diversified income, that's the value for you. But how do we do that? And we do that by creating an enhanced value proposition. And if I think about your value proposition, this is something extra that you're bringing to the table. What is it that you're bringing to the table? Well, it's a partner that helps you to build wealth, but not only build wealth, also to protect wealth. If we do that, and we do that well, then you've got a trusted partner and you've got a happy customer. So that enhanced value proposition, I've broken it down into 3 aspects. So one is, let's call it holistic financial planning. And right in the beginning of the podcast, we started speaking about the range of services that we offer. So we can do from estate planning, we can think about emergency funds, short-term, medium, long-term planning from a term funding point of view, retirement planning, education planning, medical aid, short-term, gap, all of that, we can take care of that. That is what is called holistic financial planning. Number 2 and 3, again, it's about wealth creation. And on the one hand, it could be like your more wealthier type of customers to determine what investment strategy we are going to follow. And similarly with that, it is about protecting wealth. And even your really, really wealthy customers, there's value in protecting their wealth, whether it is for themselves, whether it's for their business, whether it's for estate planning. And that's the value proposition. But part of that is not only us, we've got obviously very, very strong resources that we bring to the table, and effectively those resources become part of your value proposition. Those resources, it could be your industry-leading estate planning experts. So we use legal advisors that we pay a salary. You don't pay them. The customer doesn't pay them. We pay them, and they help with estate planning as well. So very, very detailed estate planning. But it could also be that you partner with healthcare, employee benefits for the company. It could be, you guys might know it as HO8, short-term insurance, risk cover, bond cover, investment solutions experts. We've got the risk specialists. We've got investment specialists. All of that included in the value proposition. Now, having said all of that, summary, reminder, benefits of an IC. Obviously, we as Old Mutual take care of the advice risk. So you don't have to worry about that. You are partnering with knowledgeable and credible business partners, and then you're entering into a legal contract with Old Mutual. That means we are forced by the contract to actually pay you the referral fee. And that's where the whole diversified income stream comes to play. That said, I also said that there's something in it for you. So not only the independent contract agreement and the diversified income. So I want to almost challenge you guys to say, let us start with you. Let us experience this, because if you've experienced it firsthand, there's a very good chance that you're going to be more comfortable to really give quality word of mouth referral to some of your customers. So with that said, I've designed a competition where there's 3 lucky customers, and you can either win education or a travel voucher to the value of 50,000. What do you need to do? Do you need to buy something? No, absolutely not. All we want to do is we want to spend a bit of time with you, and we've got a solution recommendation tool for education. So maybe you've still got kids, small kids, and we want to do a solution recommendation for education planning, or we want to do a solution recommendation for you on retirement planning. So you can choose, do I want to do it for education? Do I want to do it for retirement? All you need to do to be entered into this competition is spend the 10 or 15 minutes with us to go through solution recommendation, look at your own portfolio. Absolutely no obligation to buy, because we believe we first want to partner with you to show you the value in starting this planning process. And I mean, there's such a cool slogan coming, start where you're at. And when you do that, and there's absolutely no judgment, we want to partner with you. We want to help you. By just doing that, you'll be entered into the lucky draw, and you can win one of 3 50,000 vouchers. With that said, 2 angles: sign up as an independent contractor and help with those referrals, because you've already got the relationship, and take us for a test run here, and let's do an education or a retirement solution recommendation. Thank you very much, Stu.
Fantastic. What I love about that is here's Old Mutual, 180 plus years old. And you'd think that someone of that age kind of is holding on to their money because almost like a bar humbug type of way. But no, these guys keep on giving. These guys are actually setting up where you can give additional value to your clients, the clients that trust you, build that deeper relationship with a 180 plus year old company. Then they're actually now investing in us by saying, hey guys, we actually are committed to supporting your business with a competition that's in-house so that you can actually win a trip to the US of A. And you can speak to our wonderful growth manager, Harvey, who will give you more details around that in his sessions that he has every single week. But then it goes even more. Well, all you're going to do is sit down with one of the actual consultants just to get an idea. And here's what's great about this. You know, as you were talking about that, I was actually getting this feeling of going, but wait a minute. When I pass a referral to a particular client, what is that client's experience going to be like? And what you've actually just shared with me is a way for our agents to actually experience it yourself. So that when you say, hey, by the way, I'm going to hand you over to a brilliant guy by the name of Henno. He's going to be able to help you through this particular journey. And guess what? This guy's got a sense of humor. Why do I know that? Because I've already sat down with him for 10 to 15 minutes to get an understanding of the questions to either school, and guys, that is like a big one, or retirement, which is, guys, a big one. It kind of scratches my head. I would almost be going, which one? Fortunately for me, my kids are older, so that one's out of the question as a school, but definitely on the retirement front. But here's the best part about it. When you're giving a referral, you're giving a referral with trust, because through to the persons that you're going through to, you've experienced it. When they say, well, what do they talk about? You can experience it. So that's a brilliant initiative, Henno, and I want to thank you for sharing. Now, the big question that's always going to come up is how do we actually set up these first appointments? How do we actually set it up so that we can get into the draw? How do we do that?
Well, I'll send a QR code to you guys. If you don't mind, I'll send a QR code. You guys just tell me, I want to sign up for the competition. I want to do the test run. I want to enter this competition. We'll get the leads or the notification through to our side, and we'll link a financial advisor to you.
Brilliant. So do look out in all of our social groups. We'll put that out on probably over the next couple of days. I'll send this through to marketing so that they can actually put that together, and then that will get published and pressed out to everybody. It has always been an honor. It's great to have, and I think this was actually our first online session. We've obviously spoken in person at various events across South Africa, but this is our first online. It was great to have you on. I'm looking forward to doing future sessions where we can go a little bit deeper and maybe even role play one or two scenarios so that people can understand exactly what we do. It might go a little bit financial, but you know what? It's the experience I think is so important. Any final thoughts, words, or comments from yourself before we close up and before we go into like a Q&A?
Yeah, well, from my end, thank you for everyone who's listening to this. And Stuart, you made the offer. If anyone wants to have a specific topic, we'll source the best expert to help explain that topic. So you guys can tell us whatever it is. We want to invest in you as well. We want to invest in your customers. So tell us what you want to know, and we'll set up that session from our end.
Oh, that's brilliant. We've got the big brother. I'm going to call it the big brother because he's over 180 years old, standing behind us and supporting us as we're actually going through. So to actually answer a few questions that I know that many of you are asking about, the first one is, how do we sign up? Well, look out in all of the social media groups. We'll make sure that all of those links, QR codes are there so that you can either go into becoming an independent contractor with Old Mutual, or alternatively scheduling that first appointment where it gets you into the actual draw itself. We're also going to be talking about getting hold of the flyer, and I'm sure you do have a very simple flyer that can be shared. I will share that with the team as well, so please do look out on the Slack channels. If you're not part of it, the Facebook private group for the eXp agents, it's inside there. Well, it will be inside there as well as on all of the marketing ways that we talk with all of you guys. It's been an absolute honor and privilege to have you onto this particular session. I look forward to future sessions. And so from ourselves, before we jump into Q&A, I just want to say cheers for now.